Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 24. The two main focus for today will be the continuation of the train ride towards the heartland of the Republic, and we will finally start taking advantage of the decorative flower beds. We have a small city to decorate, so let's get it done. But of course, that's not all we will do. We have a rail network to build, and we are getting pretty close to the point where we can start electrifying the segments we've built so far. Oh, yeah. Since we spend so little money today on constructions, and we just started exporting food, by the end we will have so much money, that we will be able to repay 2 of the outstanding loans we have. Sure, they will be about halfway through their 5-year deadline, but that's beside the point. Before we do anything, let's take care of the next construction outpost. We managed to reach the limit of the current one in the last episode, so we need to extend the range of our groundworking machinery. Placing it here should allow us to reach all the way to the end of the 2 small islands we want to go through, so this should be the last one we need for this particular endeavor. As usual, this is very much a temporary thing, so I'm not bothered about making the roads look nice. We still need to go through a bit of bedrock, so please give me a second. That took a while, good thing we only need to do it once. Now it just needs the gas station, the fuel deliveries, and it's all good to go. Let's see what else we can do while the diggers find their way to it. Let's see if we can make these entrances to the embankments meld together. I don't think we can do any better than this gravel texture and footpath combo. But before that, let's trim back the grass in a couple places, so it only sticks through the green parts of the waterfront. This is the tricky part. These 3 pathways merge together, so we should try to adhere to them as much as possible. I'll leave the last one for later. I don't know what I'll build here in the future. As long as the gravel texture completely covers the footpaths, I'm okay with the outlines. Not much we can do about those. They are barely noticeable from a bird's eye view, so it's not really a big aesthetic issue. Next, we have a bit of rewiring to do. I would like to have this substation connect to the new transformer, so the wiring is a bit more organized. This of course managed to free up a connection on the old one, so we can use that to power the western edge of the island. You know what, let's make this substation a bit more useful. I don't mind if 1 or 2 embankments are without power, I'd rather give the small clinic some electricity. As we've established, it's operating just fine without it, it only needs it for the ambulance fuel pumps. I've been avoiding mentioning it until now, since it's operating, but it still doesn't make sense when it comes to realism. If we place it just past the last embankment walkway, we will be powering everything important on the island. You know, I've been a bit dissatisfied with how the cables are organized in the Republic. Thankfully they are relatively cheap to build, so I might dedicate a bit of time in the future to make them run in those neat parallel lines we all know and love. We just need to be careful not to cut power to too many services at once. Now, about the flower beds. As I've said in the last episode, I didn't like how they weren't perfectly parallel, so let's fix that. Let's place them first, and then we can place the textures. Those road connection points were really inconvenient for this project, but they were a minor obstacle. And now they are perfectly aligned with the housing block. Just the way it's supposed to be. Let's do the same for the other entrances, and that's it for this building. It's a small change, but it makes all the difference. And since we reloaded the game since the trees were destroyed, we can replant them now. Yeah, this works for me just fine. Alright, this cable will be completed in a second, so no need to babysit it. The important thing is that the diggers managed to get to the third outpost, so we can get to work. If you remember, we were having problems with the ground clipping through some of the rail tracks, so let's see if we can fix that. Just like that. All that dirt and rock piling onto the tracks, very unsatisfying. There is a way around it though. First, we need to level out the final track shelf. Then, before we finalize the whole thing, we just need to make the turn narrower, so the yellow ghost image overlaps those pesky polygons, and pushes them further back. Obviously, it's a more time-consuming thing to do on bedrock. It would go much faster on regular dirt. But we have to play with the cards we're dealt. Not entirely perfect, but much better than it was before. It seems the upper part of the tracks will have to go through another tunnel. The lower lane can make a wide enough turn to go around it, but the same cannot be said for the upper one. Also, did you see that? Getting rid of the clipping polygons went so much faster on soft dirt. A bit weird when looking at it underground, but not an issue from a normal point of view, so I'll let it be. We are approaching the first island, so it's time to bring the two separate lanes back together again. First, we need the bridges to know where we want those lanes to meet. Yeah, I can work with this. As usual, we just need a gentle enough slope to not trigger my need for a rail network that at least pretends to care about these sorts of things. Good thing we are not relying on this power plant yet. This fire would have plunged the entire Republic into a blackout if it was the only source of electricity. That will take care of the upper lane of the seaside train ride. Now the lower one. Thankfully this one has a wide enough room for a comfortable turn. Now we just need to somehow make it come up to the same level as the other lane, so they can start running parallel again. If they don't want to cooperate, because the ground cannot be changed around existing infrastructure, we can just remove the existing track, bring up the lower one to the same level, and then replace the old one. The overall slope looks okay to me, but there are small imperfections I want to work out. But I won't bother with those today. In a future episode, I will go through the entire coastal railroad, and hunt down any remaining clipping and bumpiness issues. For now, I just wanted to get the rough outline done. I think this node couldn't be removed because the track layer started to build it. That answers one of my questions: merging unfinished tracks only works as long as they are still completely untouched. Now, the bridges. We had little luck with these, with the steel trusses at the bottom. They always interfered with the roads below. But they are perfect for this occasion. Let's just make sure they are aligned perfectly, and it's good to go. Once we go over this gap, we are in the mainland. There we go. We managed to forge a way for our rail network, connecting our small corner to the rest of the Republic. As I've said, I will still go over this whole thing, and make sure there are no clipping and bumpiness issues anywhere. Once I'm satisfied, we can start building it. But that won't be for a couple episodes more, since we have a lot of work to do on the existing network, including building the catenaries, which should take at least 2 episodes. They are done way faster than the tracks themselves though. There are a few segments still waiting around the distribution offices, so let's get those done before we move on to the Utica branch. Also, get a load of that bank balance. I'll only notice it later, but hot damn, that's a healthy looking amount of money. Okay, I had literally nothing else to do at this point, so let's start beautifying the city a little. Let's start with the concert hall. Sadly, the round flower bed was a bit too big, so had to use the rectangular ones. But before I could place the first one, I got distracted by the traffic jam notification. At this point, I should really disable full unloading on those dumpers. Then, on my way back to the city, I stopped by the track layer display. Filling in the background with trees seemed to have been a success. But maybe a couple bushes near the road might look good too. So, where were we? Oh right. The concert hall. Get ready to see a lot of trees getting destroyed in this episode. Which of course means we will have to replant a lot of them in the next one. Just FYI. The round ones still don't quite fit, maybe the long one will be okay. I don't know. I feel this place would look better with a small plaza in front of it. I might go ahead and redo the road to make some room for it. But that will only happen in a later episode, we have other things to decorate. I was trying to find a place for this round flower bed, but no luck this time. I might rebuild the footpaths at the cinema entrance, creating a small circular place for it, who knows? There is one thing I know works, and that's the long ones in front of the housing blocks. Thankfully the asphalt textures were pretty well aligned on this one. But this obelisk gave me an idea. You know what, I think that works quite well. To nobody's surprise, the trees are unplantable until a reload, so let's just move on. I think Uncle Lennon could use a bit of color around him. Maybe 2 more on the sides. Yeah, That looks nice. If we can fit some bushes in those small wedges, that would be perfect. Well, one was big enough. Not sure about the rest, we will have to wait for the obligatory reload. The university could also use a makeover. Not a big one, just a couple of these at the entrance. Well, if we put some gravel textures to fill in the rest of the entrance walkway, that might make it look a bit better. Yeah. From afar, you can barely tell that there's a footpath there. Now these houses. They are a bit more varied than the others in terms of footpath layouts, so they won't all be the same. Doesn't really make sense to have the same kind of long flower bed for each entrance here. But we can still do something nice. The gap between the doors are perfect for these smaller ones. I'm really glad these decorations don't have a footprint, and they can be clipped through the other buildings. Oh yeah, I am quite happy with these. Of course they had their trees removed, but those will be replanted in the next episode. Well, as long as I don't forget. A bit of a shame about this third flower bed clipping through the ground. But 2 is still more than none at all. Just needs the gravel texture to complete the picture. The more I look at the cinema entrance, the more I want to rebuild it. I don't think the amusement park is ready for these flower beds in all locations. I still need to place the kiosks, but there are a couple spots where they already make sense. Also, these asphalt entrances don't really make sense, so let's fix them a little. A bit of a shame that the gravel footpaths are still above the textures. We really need an asphalt footpath to fix it. Anyways, let's take a look at the track layer progress. There are a couple more segments left around the RDOs, so let's make sure they get done quickly. And I finally noticed the bank balance. I was expecting to be able to repay maybe one loan in this episode, but as it turns out, we could do 2 of them instead. After the tracks around the rail distribution offices are properly done, we will need to focus on finishing the coal branch. Although, it won't see any trains until there are catenaries, so I don't really know why I was trying to hurry it along with the higher priorities. Oh well, won't hurt anyone, so might as well. Here, I had to stand up from the computer for a minute, so I decided to just take a ride on the track layer. I'll be back by the time it's close to home. Alright, let's see what's next. Maybe we can start upgrading these roads a little. In fact, let's just do all of them. The last pieces are a bit long though, so let's put a pause on those for now. I'm okay with upgrading the rest though, we will need to start using that border crossing sooner or later. Still, low priority will do just fine. Even though they are the only real construction going on apart from the railroad. Speaking of, all the track segments around the distribution offices are now properly assigned to the construction office. It's only a matter of time now. It's been a while since I last checked on the happiness of our citizens, and I was real glad to see no major complaints. I was about to start making some room for the new houses and services, but the bulldozers are busy on the new gravel roads. It can wait, I guess. Speaking of these machines, the ones in the last outpost are done with that job now, so they can be reassigned to Kirkimov. They will do more good there. Needless to say, they will take a long time to move all the way back. I could have used some open hull trucks to speed up the process, but it's fine, they will get there when they get there. When I was getting rid of the track-hugging trees, I accidentally cut them off from this hill. Let's at least put some back. Now, there was one thing I wanted to do before we get started on these tracks. They are super long, and track layers slow themselves down when they enter a segment that is under construction. To help speed things up, I would suggest you break such long parts into smaller ones, so the builder trains can move past the already completed segments faster as they progress down the line. I still put a pause on the two starter segments, so the track layer doesn't get any bright ideas. It has other stuff to do for now. We are real close to the point where we can start electrifying the network. Can't wait. Not much I can do at this point, we just need to let it finish the current stage of construction. And just as I was about to stop recording, I got a notification about a shortage of ambulances. Well, let's just fill up the hospital, and call it a day. Now about that next episode, I think the main focus will be the electrification of the rail network. It's safe to assume that the EDK will be able to make short work of the remaining track segments, and then we can get going. I highly doubt the catenaries will be built in one episode, so the first proper train will likely have to wait a little bit more. But, maybe if we focus on finishing the main line between the customs house and the rail distribution offices, then we might be able to start buying and moving some wagons into those depots. Apart from that, I would like to avoid spending too much more on constructions, so at most, we might build a couple service buildings in Estergrad, but nothing crazy. It would be a bit embarrassing if I had to take out a loan after just repaying 2 of them. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, then leaving a like and subscribing to the channel just might motivate me to make more. If you are more in the donating mood, you can find a link to my Ko-fi page in the description, where you can buy me a glass of water. I don't really drink coffee. Thank you for your support, and until next time, I will see you later.